Have you ever thought about all the different types of fluids it takes to keep your vehicle operating? Probably not. I like to refer to these as the forgotten fluids. We've got everything here from washer fluid, power steering fluid, transmission fluid, brake fluid, the lifeblood of any engine, the motor oil. You got to keep this stuff changed, and you got to use the right stuff. And of course, antifreeze. Depends on what part of the country you live in, you got to have the right mixture of antifreeze and water. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Let's go back to the washer fluid for a second. This isn't one of the fluids that wears out, it runs out. You got to keep that tank full. It has absolute relevance to your visibility downrange and ultimately your driving safety. Just find the windshield washer filler cap under the hood, top it off. Another important fluid under your hood is the power steering fluid. What you're looking at here is a clean, fresh sample of nice golden power steering fluid. Probably what it looked like when it went in your power steering pump. Probably not what you'd find in there now. In fact, on our Tahoe, we've taken a sample out, tried to show you on a white background just how dirty and nasty that power steering fluid actually is. Now, over time, your power steering pump, via the seals and the hoses and those types of things, will consume a little power steering fluid. I'm going to show you how to check that. Now, if you're not sure where your power steering fluid reservoir is, just check your owner's manual. It'll tell you right where to find it under the hood. In this case, Chevrolet actually gave us a picture of a steering wheel on the cap. We can't mess this one up. Very simple to check with the vehicle shut off. If the engine's cold, you want to pull your dipstick out, keep a rag under it, and look for the full cold signature on the dipstick. It'll tell you exactly where it's supposed to be. We're right on track here. If you had a problem on a trip, you wanted to check it on a trip, and you're checking it while the fluid is hot, follow the line where it says full hot. If you need to add some, it'll tell you, add some. Not hard to do. Another one of the commonly forgotten fluids is the automatic transmission fluid. This stuff has a huge responsibility as it relates to your vehicle rolling down the road. You've got to use the right stuff though, and you've got to change it at the recommended intervals. Not sure what to use? Check your vehicle's owner's manual. It'll tell you exactly what you need. Now you can see that this transmission fluid, brand new, is bright red, brilliant in color, and it doesn't have any smell, any odor to it at all. If you've got burnt transmission fluid, when you pull that dipstick out, chances are you'll smell it and you know, hey, it's time to change that transmission fluid. It's easy to check. Let me show you how. With the emergency brake on and the vehicle located in a safe area, start the vehicle up. We've already cycled it through all the gears. Find the transmission dipstick. It unlocks. You pull it up out. And you look for the markings on it. Not sure how to read the markings? Check your owner's manual. This one requires to be up past the second little dot, which we're definitely in good shape. I'm also looking at the condition of this fluid. It looks bright red. There's no odor to it. It's not burnt. This transmission fluid's in good shape. The first thing you have to do is locate the master cylinder and brake fluid reservoir. It's always on the driver's side firewall directly in front of the brake pedal. In this case, it says right on the cap, brake fluid. It also tells us use only .3. Good guidance right here. Before we crack open that lid, we're going to be smart about the time we spend with that lid off, because remember I told you brake fluid is hygroscopic. That's a fancy word for it absorbs moisture out of the air. So we don't want the lid off very long. The first thing you want to do is check the level on the side of the reservoir. There's a minimum line, there's a maximum line. We're just below the max. I like to keep it at the max. It avoids air bubbles and vapor locks later on. So I'm going to crack open the lid. I'm using .3 brake fluid. Give myself a funnel so I don't spill. Top it off right to the maximum line. Do not overfill this. Put the lid back on, make sure it seals properly, feel it latch, we're good to go. You've probably heard this one 1,000 times. Change your engine oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles. The reality is, today's oils are ultra high tech. Some of them can go longer than 3,000 miles. The most important thing, follow your owner's manual recommendation for change intervals, and you gotta use the exact same type of oil that your manufacturer requires. It's a little bit of a project to do it. Just watch one of our video clinics on how to change oil. You'll learn how. What I want to show you here is look at this Castrol Syntec oil. It's a synthetic oil. It's a nice golden brown, clearly not blackened at all. It doesn't smell burnt. It's nice, clean, fresh oil. That's the job it has inside your engine, is to clean it, to lubricate it, and keep everything working properly. The right oil, the right amount of oil, changed properly impacts power and fuel economy and ultimately vehicle life, giving you a much better return on your investment. Let me show you how to check it. You want to locate the engine oil dipstick in the engine bay, pull it on out, and you'll see there's indicators on the dipstick. You can see right here it says maximum, and there's level indicators. This vehicle is almost a quart low. I'm going to show you how to add it, not hard to do. Unlike the transmission fluid, we don't add the engine oil at the engine oil dipstick filler. We go to the engine oil filler cap that usually comes up off a valve cover. It says right on it, engine oil. It tells you 5W30. That's what we're going to use, 5W30. That's really important. Remove the filler cap, set it off to the side, add a funnel, keep things neat. Get your 5W30 oil, in this case synthetic, and we're going to go ahead and top it off. And the last forgotten fluid is antifreeze. If you've ever seen anybody stranded roadside with steam pouring out from under the hood, maybe it's happened to you, it's no fun. Chances are they were low on coolant or antifreeze. Coolant, antifreeze, it's the same thing. What you're looking at here is 50-50. It's already mixed, 50% water, 50% antifreeze or glycol. That way you don't have to think about it. You can just add the right stuff. Check your owner's manual and make sure you're adding the right stuff if in fact you do need to add it. Look how clean it looks when it's new, fresh, good-looking antifreeze. I'm going to show you how to check it. Now, on some vehicles, you'll find the radiator cap up front on a pressurized system. It's usually silver and spins off. In other vehicles, there's a reservoir over on one side, one fender or the other. Look for the coolant label on top of the lid. Make sure you do this when the engine's cold. You will get burned if it's hot. Now, before I crack this open and check the quality of the antifreeze, I've done a visual inspection out here where it says full cold, and we definitely have enough antifreeze in this engine. I'm going to back the lid off. And I take my sample checker, put it down in, draw a good sample right up into your gauge. You're going to check two things. You're going to check the freeze point of this antifreeze. We're good down to minus 29 degrees. We're in real good shape. The other thing we can tell on the other side of the gauge is a boiling point. And we're clear up around 255 degrees for a boiling point. So we're in good shape. We got the right amount of antifreeze. We got the right stuff in it. Empty it back in the reservoir. Try not to spill any. It's dangerous for animals. Seal up your lid. And your forgotten fluids are no longer forgotten.